Have you ever wondered how skaters are able to jump with their boards sticking to their feet? I'm here to show you how to ollie the right way. No glue or magic needed. The ollie is one of the fundamental tricks of skateboarding. So learning how to ollie not only teaches you perseverance, but it also opens up a wider variety of bags of tricks for you to learn as a beginner in skateboarding. Today, I will be guiding you through the steps and mechanics behind doing an ollie on a skateboard. First, I will dive into what an ollie is and the physics behind the trick to help you better understand some of the science behind an ollie. Then, I will discuss how to ollie step by step from foot placement to how to pop and then to how to level out and complete the actual motion of an ollie. Finally, I will discuss how the ollie is one of the most important tricks for a skater to perfect in order to learn new tricks in skateboarding. The ollie is essentially when a skateboarder jumps in the air and the board sticks to their feet. You can learn how to ollie stationary or rolling, but the momentum gained from doing an ollie moving makes creating the upward force, otherwise known as pop, needed to lift up the board in the air easier to achieve. When doing an ollie, the skater pushes down on the tail to create this upward force. While in the air, you slide your foot and you use the friction to level out the board so you can land on the skateboard comfortably and on the bolts. Depending on how high you're going to ollie, you bend your knees and jump to the preferred height, and when you land, you bend your knees to better absorb the impact. When you land, you want to try and land on the bolts so that you roll away and disperse your weight evenly and don't fall off the board. Now that you know the science behind the ollies, let's go and dive into the steps on how to actually ollie itself. One of the most important steps of doing an ollie is foot positioning. If you don't know where to position your feet on the board, you're not going to be able to ollie. The first step you're going to need to do is pop. To pop, you want to position your back foot onto the edge of the board and then shift all your weight down towards that back foot while you simultaneously lift up off your front foot. That motion is called pop. Popping is essentially just hitting your tail against the ground. You want to get used to that motion because it's the key motion in learning an ollie. Next, you want to learn your timing. This is probably the hardest part to grasp in the ollie, but immediately after you pop, you want to match your timing and jump in the air as you pop so that the board comes up with your feet. The next step is using friction by sliding your foot to level out the board. To do this, you turn your foot at a slight angle and you slide up to the nose of the board until you feel the board level out. Once it levels out, you want to land on the board and feel it out. Learning how to ollie is the hardest part, but in return, the possibilities for learning new tricks has greatly increased. Learning how to ollie is a difficult process, but it requires a skater to be comfortable on their board. It's going to take a while to learn how to ollie, and at some times it may even feel impossible, but if you're truly passionate about the sport, those few close tries will fuel you enough to finally land one clean ollie. Although it's one of the first tricks, the ollie is one of the hardest tricks for skateboarders to perfect. Even I still practice my ollies, and I'm not an advanced skater, but I'm an intermediate skater. The ollie is probably one of the most fundamental tricks in skateboarding. It opens up a variety of tricks, from going on to grinds, going on to manuals. If you add different motions, you can completely change the trick entirely. You can add a little rotation to turn that ollie into a 180. You can slide your foot off and up the nose, and that'll turn into a kickflip. So the ollie is pretty much the basis for every other trick that you're going to be doing into skateboarding. Learning how to ollie is a complicated journey that begins with understanding the forces that cause the board to go up in the air and stay under your feet. Then you have to combine that knowledge with the steps that I've taught you so that you can properly pop and slide and level out the board to complete a proper ollie. Skateboarding is essentially just trial and error. So it's important to just never give up. Keep trying over and over. It's an issue of mind over matter. If you keep practicing, eventually you'll get it. As promised, I've taught you the secrets of the ollie. No glue or magic needed. Now, I challenge any of you who are interested in skateboarding to go and try and learn an ollie using the tips that I just gave you. Thank you for listening.